It's Nolan.
Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show.
Hey, love, shout it, what the deal? Just keep it real. Tell that brother how you feel. And we could build many levels to your world. Let them reveal how your feelings stay concealed. Sit back and chill. J Nolan. Yeah, how many brothers really know what's on your mind? When your feelings start to show, how many left from on the line? You've been down, succumbing to the ears of the world. Early 20s popping pills with your girls. Only the real will unfurl. Chasing thrills in the swirl for Snapchat. Catching backlash for bashing men, but they don't know the half of it. They don't see the drama you face. They get the short story. They don't see the time that it takes. But I can picture from a different spectrum. And I ain't trying to give you no suggestions. Not the exception, I've been wretched since conception. But it's about you, how you plan to get about the struggle. Don't get mad cause I confront you. Anybody can lust you, but I recognize your hustle. Writing them term papers that you turned around and sold. Got you plenty of haters, it's all game. I love it about you, they love to doubt you. All your exes suck the blood about you. Don't let it drown you in the deal. Just keep it real, tell that brother how you feel. And we could build many levels to your world. Let them reveal how your feelings stay concealed. Sit back and chill, shout it, what the deal? Just keep it real, tell that brother how you feel. And we could build many levels to your world. Let them reveal how your feelings stay concealed. Sit back and chill.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well out there this evening. Once again, we're going to be getting into some Nicki Minaj news, all right? Now, I know what a lot of people are thinking out there. Every time something comes up with Nicki Minaj, when she starts doing these social media rants, it's typically to divert attention from something else going on. I know people are saying that Kenneth Petty has some sort of update coming up regarding his court dates or lawsuits or whatever the fuck he has going on with him. So maybe this could be some sort of distraction. I can't say that for certain. All I'm saying is that's what I've been seeing. But nonetheless, we have been seeing some spiked up activity from Nicki Minaj the last couple of days, right? She had been in somewhat hibernation. She came outside really when it was time for Cardi B to report the statistics on her album sales. That's when she really popped out, when Cardi and JT were going at it. She's been on and off on social media over the last couple weeks, but over the last couple of days, she's definitely been back wreaking havoc on the social media platform. Now, yesterday, y'all know she came out and was talking about people that were stealing money, racking up charges on her American Express. We also talked about how Cardi B, just a couple weeks ago, pointed out, hey, you need to be looking into what your man is doing when you're sedated, because them Amex charges be racking up, and he's going back to the hood. Niggas is talking. Streets is talking about what's going on in your household. Right? Nicki Minaj is begging on the contrary. She believes that her stylist has been taking money. She said that there's up to 4 people who have been taking money from her. She's filed a police report allegedly against the stylist. And she believes that these people are being put up to this credit card theft by Rock Nation. Okay? Or as she would like to call them, Cock Nation. Okay? She was also talking about whether or not she would actually release this album, whatever this album is or what it's supposed to be. She put the album date for March 27th, 2026, next year. She did a Spaces just the other night talking about how she was considering not putting it out, but she was convinced by her husband that she needed to move forth with it. We played a little bit of the clip yesterday. It was very painful to listen to. I will not be playing it again. But she assured her fans that she will indeed be dropping the album. Well, as of today, she has backed out once again and said no album. And then she said, Jay-Z, I hope you're happy. Because she alleges that Jay-Z is trying to stop her from releasing her project. What Jay-Z's significance is in her situation, to my knowledge, zero. Jay-Z does not manage her at Roc Nation. Jay-Z does not have any personal investment into Nicki Minaj, the artist. He's not an advisor in her camp. So what it is that he could have involvement in, I don't know. But she's blaming him for all of her troubles. Okay? So now let's go through the social media posts on Twitter to see what's been going on. So we've got a post here from yesterday. Okay? Miss Dior says, why this era feeling like it's gonna be the last era? Right? So they're heartbroken. Like, oh shit, it feels like Nicki Minaj is set to leave us. Which I think she needs to take a very long break. The hiatus ain't been long enough. But she says, Cha, we got another 10 eras to go. Writing so fast, I might have to start writing for others. And no, I don't want your suggestions. Have a gag city. Love you. Okay? Now, the interesting piece is we're here in October of 2025. Okay? So she would have about 5 months to deliver this album. She talking about how much she writing. She ain't say nothing about no recording. But, you know, that's just the perspective of somebody who actually partakes in musical creation. Nonetheless, she says she's been writing. You've been doing a lot of writing on Twitter. I give you that much. Here, this was yesterday. We read this yesterday as well. This is her AI update on the Demery Hadley versus Desiree Perez case. She just wanted to let people know that it isn't over and that it will be moving forward with further investigation, which she uses for her own benefit to show people this is why I'm mad, although none of it has any relation to her. Her stands, who aren't very bright, support it. They say the queen with a reminder post because we see the distractions they are desperately trying to put out. Deseret, we ain't coming off your ass. What distractions are they putting out? She then goes into some more tweets. Number one, she says having your husband is greater than having tea. Okay? Now, of course, people are looking at Nicki Minaj because of her husband, because he allegedly assaulted somebody back in, 2021, which is coming back to bite them in the ass. There was a lawsuit with a failure to appear in which she lost by default. Okay, we covered that yesterday as well, and there's reports going around that she could possibly lose her $20 million home if this person does not get paid what they're owed. Okay? And they're asking that the judge move forward with foreclosing on her house, sell it, give him his $500,000 plus interest for the time he's had to wait, and then they would have plenty of money left over. So she says having your husband is greater than having tea, which I think is also a shot at Cardi B, being that she's trying to divorce her husband, right? But that's just how I see it. She then says, let this be a gem you cherish forever. Satisfying your husband is greater than stalking someone else's marriage. 32726, the new album. I find it interesting that you say satisfying your husband is better than stalking someone else's marriage when you was just talking about someone else's marriage not too long ago. Not to mention, you've been stalking Jay-Z and Beyonce saying that they stealing your goddamn photos with your husband. But she sees it in the reverse. She then says, knowing peace is better than knowing tea. I don't think you know peace. Ain't been no peace in a minute. At least that we've received from your ass. She says, I know Twitter isn't a real place because TikTok is literally like being on another fucking planet. Like they're all over there having a good old time. LMFAO. Like not a care in the fucking world. I would love to, well, let me recant that statement. Not love to know, but I would be interested to see what her algorithm is feeding her on TikTok to be acting like people have no cares in the world. Them motherfuckers is struggling when they log off. Please believe, especially with TikTok cutting them motherfucking payments. But I'll digress. She says Twitter is the family event you say you're not going to anymore, but you go every year anyway. At least you can be your asshole self and get tea, tell tea. She says TikTok is the job function you go to where you're being kind and everyone else is too. They don't know you're a fucking psycho yet. Interesting statement. Now here's where things start to rev up on Nicki's side. Okay, 18 hours ago, she says God is in control. Then she proceeds to post these screenshots here that she apparently got from Google AI or Chat GPT. So goes here, systematic breakdown. The core idea. The tactic is about breaking a person down systematically, not in one blow, but through a long orchestrated campaign that chips away at their mental, emotional, social, and spiritual stability. It's like psychological warfare mixed with social engineering. All right? And it seems to me that she's alleging that this is what she's receiving from Jay-Z, Desiree Perez, and the people over there at Roc Nation. That they're, inflicting systematic breakdown onto her. Key steps in the tactic: isolation and alienation. I would think isolation and alienation is coming from your husband. I'm gonna be all the way real. People in the world know what he was convicted of. They know he's a criminal. So I'm sure a lot of people have isolated themselves. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually is keeping you isolated from others, but I'm not going to make that allegation. And I'll even go further to say that she might even be trying to put this out there to say that Roc Nation and Jay-Z and Desiree Perez are trying to do this to Demoray Hadley, or Demoray, however you say her name, because of what she's allegedly been going through, right? So isolation and alienation. They slowly turn family, friends, and co-workers against the target through rumors, lies, and subtle manipulation. The goal is to make the person feel like nobody believes them and they are alone against the world, pressures, and triggers. They engineer stress by setting up situations where the person is constantly frustrated, doubted, or attacked. Substances. Whoa. Poisoning, drugs, alcohol, encouragement may be covertly introduced to push them into acting out of character. Who's getting poisoned and drugged? If you leave it to Cardi B, she believes that that's what's happening in your household. I don't know. Surveillance and staging. They place cameras, recorders, or staged witnesses to capture the person at their lowest moments. These recordings are later weaponized to prove the person is unstable or dangerous. There's more. She then goes into public shaming, reputation sabotage, gossip, whisper campaigns, or selective video evidence are shared to damage the person's credibility. The image projected is, see, they're crazy, unstable, addicted, or dangerous. Institutional labeling. Once the reputation is weakened, they escalate, reporting the target to authorities, getting them flagged as unstable or even placed on watch lists. This creates an official record that justifies further targeting and isolates them even more. The effect: the victim begins doubting themselves, reacting defensively, or breaking under the pressure. From the outside, it looks like the person is losing it. But in reality, it's a manufactured breakdown designed to strip away their power, credibility, and support systems. Why it works. It's powerful because it uses the victim's natural human reactions against them. It turns allies into enemies. It makes the target appear like the problem while the true manipulators remain hidden. All right. So Nicki says God is in control. She's alluding that this may be something that she is personally facing. Find it very interesting that the aggressor is always the victim these days. It's something we've been seeing for a while now. It's textbook. But nonetheless, what else you got here? Okay, this is the same shit she posted before. She proceeds to post these images again and says, your numbers have been called. Whose numbers? We don't know. But she proceeds, anytime Cock Nation's in the news for something, they don't want you to know a few things will happen. She says, 1, Will Smith will appear. I don't know what Will Smith got to do. I know he's friends with Jay-Z, but come on. 2, a famous person is announced dead. So you mean to tell me that Rock Nation is just out here killing off celebrities to keep themselves out of the light? Although that would just create even more light if it were to come back to them. Come on now. Number 3, their allies will begin to post and say nasty things about the queen. Number 4, Laces will pop up looking dumb. Now, I don't know who the fuck Laces is. Oh, or is that Lace Z? Lace Z, as in lace front, as in she believes his hair is fake. Had to put that together, huh? Lyricism, I guess. So she says he's going to pop up looking dumb, which I don't be seeing him popping up looking dumb. Last few images I seen of Jay-Z, he pops up looking like he's having a fucking time of his life. But that's just what I've seen. We shall continue. She says there's another man that will pop out, but I won't say his name. In the school of recognizing patterns, the students must not be given all the answers, but instead they must sharpen their critical thinking skills and free their mind of all clutter. Only then will they find it, but they need not search. They need only to be still. There's no race, only peace. So she says Will Smith pops up. Famous people end up dead. Their allies begin to say nasty things about the queen. She went off on Memphis Bleak earlier this year, although all he said was, hey, you should chill out with all this bullshit. Come join us. Come get some money on with us. She took offense. Who the other man is, I don't know. Okay. She says, then one of the roaches will crawl out to discuss who their fave artist is. One of the roaches, huh? So now you've added that to your lexicon. She says, flattering photos are allowed to be posted of me again. Thanks, POTUS. So now she's speaking to Trump again. Remember, she's been tagging Trump for the last couple months. Probably has never had a conversation with him, but whatever. She says, Epiphany had politicians thinking she would lead them to a victory. Had Live Nation thinking she knew her shit. LOL. How much money did VP Harris have stacked up for her campaign again? Yikes. And of course, she's again speaking on Kamala Harris and her presidential campaign, having Beyonce's involvement, Cardi B's involvement, Megan Thee Stallion's involvement. All people she doesn't seem to like. Although she hides her disdain for Beyonce, plays nice. She then reposts one of her fans. They say September 17th, Jay-Z's casino bid was denied. September 18th, media reports Will Smith stalling divorce over pics from September 6th, yet they barely mentioned it on the 18th. Stalled on divorces because of their image, but you say stalling divorce over pics? I don't think when they say their image, they mean pictures. Shared finances is what it also says there. Image as in like how people will see them. But, you know what's going on here, people. We don't got to say it. She then proceeds to post a photo of herself and Kenneth Petty, saying it's dangerous to mistake respect for fear. Now, who she respects, I don't know. And who she would possibly be fearing, I also don't know. We've got another repost here from Nicki of another one of her fans. Damn, this is a long one. And we got into this whole Thomas Wiedemuller thing yesterday. She says Thomas Wiedemuller sued Nicki and her husband on January 27, 2022 in the same court as Tory Lanez case, as if that fucking matters. The defendants were never personally served. The plaintiff repeatedly used newspaper notices as a last resort despite this method being outdated. Did they have her address at the time? Service by publication can be misused as a strategic tool rather than a last resort for due process. It offers plaintiffs an advantage for default judgments if defendants miss public notice, leading to an automatic win without case discussion. This method also risks public humiliation and harassment, turning legal matters into spectacles, especially with high-profile cases. Plaintiffs may exaggerate efforts to find defendants, making the process seem manipulative. You mean the type of thing Drake was doing? Additionally, once a default judgment is obtained, plaintiffs can quickly enforce it by selling the defendant's home, which favors prioritizing expediency over other considerations of fairness. Overall, this process can be exploited to gain an unfair advantage and seize assets before the defendant is aware. I'm sure within the last couple of years, Nicki Minaj would have become aware of the situation, but I'm just speculating. Between 2023 and 2024, Wiedemuller filed multiple requests for entry of default, mostly rejected due to service issues. After months, a default judgment was entered on March 22, 2024 for $503,318.02, followed by a writ of execution and application for sale of dwellings in 2025 to sell the defendant's home and recover the judgment. Notably, Nancy Dillon, the journalist who influenced the media narrative against Tory Lanez, also authored the 2024 Rolling Stone article on this case. The docket below shows filing solely by this individual. So what we're getting here is an alleged conspiracy against Nicki Minaj. Very original. A refusal to do anything can't exist if you were never served. Hence, there is no attorney present for the defendants. What raised my eyebrows was that I had to look at the court docket to know who the judge was and in what court. At any other time in these write-ups, the judge will be clearly identified as well as the courthouse. Are we sure about that? I don't think every write-up identifies the judge. Maybe the courthouse. I don't know about the judge. Why is everything always fishy at this courthouse? Was actual service received? The case is still pending, and there is a hearing set for November 20th, 2025. So they have screenshots here. Nicki Minaj and husband ordered to pay $500,000 for alleged backstage assault in Germany. And these are clippings. All right. Not going to spend too much time on this, but Nicki reposted it, so I figured I would read it. Nicki Minaj follows up. She says, I have evidence that this was given to a business manager who never told me. My lawyers and business managers, old and new, are aware. Let's see if they'll speak up or if I'll have to call them out by name. I find this to be very interesting because Nicki is alleging that her manager received the service but never told her about the lawsuit, never told her about the stakes. You know? But I'm quite sure you knew about that nigga getting his motherfucking jaw broke. Anyway, she says if they don't speak up, I may have to call them out. Please do. The same business manager stole money from me many times. Then he was accused of killing a woman and leaving her in a hotel room. Jesus. Not sure the outcome of the case, though. I believe the later said she died of a drug overdose after he left the hotel room around 3 a.m. or something like that. Let's take a moment for this. So here we have Opinionated Truths, who does a lot of investigative work online. She came and said, this is the lady who was unalived that was Nicki Minaj's manager, Kardashians, etc. She was mentioned in court documents in 2021 in registered SO court case, as in Kenneth, with the victim Jennifer Huff of allegedly being blamed for Nicki not getting notified or miscommunication about getting served allegedly or for retaining a lawyer. So this is Nicki Minaj's former manager who was actually killed in 2021, Miss Angela Kukowski. In December of 2021, Angela Kukowski, who was a business manager for Nicki Minaj and other celebrities, was found dead. Her boyfriend, Jason Barker, was arrested and charged with her murder and torture. Now, that's crazy. We also have former manager, but they say he was just an assistant. In January 2025, Brandon Javon Garrett, another former manager, filed a lawsuit against Nicki Minaj alleging assault and battery. Okay? This doesn't involve any accusation of a murder. So basically, what Opinionated Truth is trying to point out is that there is no manager allegedly that was investigated for murder, right? These are two of her last managers. One was actually killed. The other has filed charges against Nicki Minaj for assaulting him in Detroit. Okay, this is the case where he went out to get her some stuff. He sent somebody else out to go get her so-called prescriptions, and she flipped out. And she hit him in the head and allegedly hit him on the wrist, which caused him alleged injuries. I'm just going to say alleged. And they say that he went in the bathroom and cried all night. Okay? Now, that's all I have on that. Let me see what else we have. Opinionated Truths comes back and says, so last night there was a post made of allegations and claims with Nicki, and I posted and added who she could have been speaking about, but I wanted to also add that she is also speaking about, and I think in my opinion, she's getting confused intentionally or mistakenly with the timeline, the people she's talking about, but both. But only one that is aligned to her that was her manager is the woman that was allegedly murdered. Well, if she gone, she gone. But God bless. But I think she's getting it confused with a man who was not her manager and who had business dealings with Drake. Oh, wow. And other artists who was also in question of one of his artists being found deceased in a hotel. Okay, so clearly this is the person she was talking about that he had. So I will be posting that to add to this, and we'll be going on Station Head to break this down verbally. So the person that Opinionated points out is David Bono. Read the entire post to get the understanding, please. Even the original post. So here, although you can't see the entire thing, it says, no, David Bono was not Nicki Minaj's manager. While he is a well-known business manager in the entertainment industry who has worked with high-profile clients like Drake, Justin Bieber, and Post Malone, he has never been officially listed as a manager for Nicki Minaj. Here is an article from April of 2023. Music executive David Bono has been officially cleared as a person of interest in the slaying of an aspiring singer in Miami Beach. Bono, 46, who's worked with Drake and Post Malone, claims he wasn't there when aspiring musician Laura Lozano's lifeless body was found in the bathtub, Jesus Christ, of his Ocean View suite in Miami Beach. That's some crazy shit to have a manager that was killed and then have a manager who was investigated for killing somebody else. Just fuck. Bad luck. Okay, now let's get back to Nicki. We have this person here saying, I want to know what the lies being told about Nicki. What do they expect us to do? Stop loving her because it'll never happen. Stop supporting her. It'll never happen. Stop being a barb. It'll never happen. I hope y'all see what's going on now. This is larger than any beef Nicki's ever been in. They are legit trying to tarnish her legacy and career. Barbs, we have to stick together more than ever during this era and pray for real, for real. All right? She does the hard hands. So no matter what she does or says on her own account, they say we will still be here. They're just trying to make her look bad. Barblina, the one who didn't know the difference between a public-facing image and photos, comes back to say, shout out to the Barbs on the front lines for Nicki. What we're fighting for is bigger than any of us can see. Keep exposing the industry giants. Keep researching. Keep your faith strong. And don't let the bots break you. Every post, every share, every bit of research matters. Nicki says God saved the Barbs 3/27/26. That's just 14 hours ago. Nicki continues reposting her fans. Season Mirage says every time they try to play the dirty industry games, every single time. You gotta say it all like that. It's all one word. They ain't even hit the space bar, they bit, man. Every single time. Or try to attack her and her family, the Barbs go harder and harder and harder for her. You motherfuckers never learn, huh? See you next year for the new era. You saw what happened the last time you tried it. Okay? So clearly, they feel like they living in a motherfucking comic book. Nicki says they don't want me to put out music. Me winning makes them feel like they lost. They're right. But what about all the success for Win Again? Didn't that just get back on the charts? She says, however, it didn't have to be this way. Lots of people part ways in business. They know how successful my next album is going to be. Tried to sign Wayne, Drake, me. So they, okay, let's get to some shit here. So they keep wanting to take or stop my money. Simply because narcissists believe what you work hard for belongs to them. Fuming because they can't siphon any more energy, money, blessings, love, grace, joy, peace, the culture. No successful tours, just vibes and payola. Casino. Now I find this to be very interesting. Okay? So she is alleging that Roc Nation is trying to sabotage her career because they tried to sign her and she declined. Okay? She then throws Wayne and Drake in the mix. Now, I do remember when Wayne was in between situations, when he was suing Birdman, he couldn't put out the Carter, what was it, 5? Or was it 4? I'm trying to remember. No, 4 was already out. I think it was 5. He was having trouble putting out 5. He was fucked up. His taxes was in the red. All that shit. Jay-Z literally came to his defense, gave him the money to get him out of the red in taxes, literally said, hey man, if they not letting you put music out, you can release music on Tidal just to keep yourself out there. Wasn't there a Free Wheezy project that dropped on Tidal that ended up eventually getting on other platforms while he was in limbo? So it doesn't sound to me like they were necessarily signing him. They were just helping him boil over. Or maybe they thought, we'll do these acts of goodwill and he'll come sign with Roc Nation after we, get him through it. That could have been the expectation. I don't know. But to my knowledge, that's not how it played out. I know Jay tried to sign Wayne back in 2003, 04. But at the time, that's when Birdman swooped in and said, all right, Junior, I'm gonna give you Young Money, Playboy. I'm gonna give you a whole label. Then what that nigga Jay talking about? So Jay tried to sign him as an artist. Birdman upped the ante, said, I'll give you your label. See how that turned out. We ended up getting Drake. We ended up getting Nicki. We ended up getting Tyga. And a bunch of other motherfuckers who won't be named. But with all that success, Wayne was still getting robbed blind. He was getting paid in Rolls Royces instead of actually getting his fucking money. Right? But back to Nicki. They say tried to sign Wayne, Drake, and me. Now, I don't know of any talks of trying to sign Drake. That part I don't know. That's unbeknownst to me. Also, the offers of her, I don't know about. I always thought it was the other way around. I thought she wanted to be the Roc Nation girl. That's what Azalea Banks even said. and they allegedly declined her, but I don't know that to be true either. She says they wanted her, and because she walked away, they're trying to stop her bag. They want to completely ruin everything in her life, despite the fact that Jay and Beyonce have continued to show love and support to her over the years. Okay? And saying no successful tours is crazy too, because Jay-Z ain't put a fucking album out in years. Well, why would he be touring? He don't need to. Anyway, she continues. On TikTok, Desiree Perez, you got bigger fish to fry, Boogie. Conspiracy, false imprisonment, civil rights violation, old cock nation, y'all suck. Page 6, Us Weekly, LMFAO. Nothing you say will stop what's to come. Cry harder. I think you're going to jail, Desiree Casino. How's she gonna go to jail for a civil suit? Anyway, they say Nicki Minaj is at risk of losing. So this is the story that came out yesterday from Us Weekly. It was also shared on page 6's TikTok, in which Nicki Minaj actually literally showed up in the TikTok comments. She says, Desiree Perez, you mad? Ha 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 ha. Conspiracy, false imprisonment, civil rights violations, Rock Nation CEO. Ha 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 ha. So much time in the day. She says, Dear US Weekly, in page 6, you just fucked yourselves. So now that they've reported on this issue that she's facing with her house, she's now threatening Us Weekly and page 6. And she's been threatening for months about putting together some sort of civil RICO on the entire industry. If they're associated or affiliated with Rock Nation and they report against her, or if you're a blogger that puts out articles that are not favorable to her, you will also end up in the civil RICO. I'm just trying to lay as low as I can, because I mean, goddamn, I ain't got nothing for you. We get another repost. I will never trust a newspaper or blog who allows fabricated stories and ruins their own reliable reputation just because they are on someone's payroll. Loses all credibility and respect. Oh, there's more. There's more, people. She reposts Lena the Barb all over again. Someone's already got a police report for stealing from Nicki. And that's just the beginning. 3 others are involved. 1 even tracked her. People are scared, which is why you're seeing random articles and new narratives. Keep the focus where it matters. The truth's unfolding. Nicki says, bingo. Okay? Furthermore, hearing Desiree Perez talking about how she was begging for $40 million and was told no was just. Oh, broke nation. How'd you go so fucking broke? Like, who in their right fucking mind would sign to you? LMFAO. No successful tours, but vibes and bots? Broke nation? Begging for $40 million? Okay. She then says, they came begging the queen for a tour and album, and I said, nope. LMFAO. Wanted to patch it up. They needed help from the queen and the Barbs. I called on the Barbs on the secret Barb phone. Jesus Christ. And it was a resounding no. Just like the casino. At SC, let me find out you gonna let Desiree take the fall alone. I don't blame you. That ugly ass hoe. Bitch gonna snitch anyway. You might as well beat her to it. Conspiracy. False imprisonment. Civil rights violations. Run! So she says Rock Nation allegedly came to her begging for a tour and an album. And she said no. Unfortunately, we already know that Rock Nation and Jay-Z will never speak on this. I wish they would, so we could try to get some more clarity from the other side. But they always just let people talk. I mean, shit. Nicki Minaj ain't the first person to say Jay-Z's hair was fake. 50 Cent wasn't either. He still ain't spoke on that shit. But this was the kicker. She then comes back 10 hours ago. She says, okay, I'm not going to put the album out anymore. No more music. Hope you're happy now at SC. And of course, SC is Jay-Z's page. Bye, Barbs. Love you for life. She proceeds to post an AI photo of two Nicki Minaj's walking across the crosswalk. Looks like we've got old era Nicki to the left and new era Gag City Nicki to the right, hand in hand, making their unceremonious exit from the game. So as of today, she's claiming that the album is once again canceled, and she says no more music. So this would be a retirement of sorts if it were to hold up, which we know this ain't real. But once again, these are the types of shows that she's putting on for her fans to get them amped up, so when the album actually drops, they could talk about all the turmoil and hardships she went through to get here and how much Rock Nation was holding her back. And even as she announces her exit, she still has the album date as her pinned tweet. Nonetheless. All right, I think I've said enough about this here, so I'm going to go ahead and move on with my life and my day. Y'all be sure to let me know what you think of everything that was said in this video. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, become an insider, and I will catch y'all on the next one. Y'all be good out there. Y'all be safe out there. Protect your mind, body, and soul, please. I beg of you. But I'll catch y'all later. Peace.
Family over fame in this bitch, yeah. The glory of living righteous is setting in. My street knowledge and education's a perfect blend. Young mogul, independent, I've been setting trends. The first one from my family to be faithfully wed. Fuck niggas and the horses that they riding on. I see this shit from all angles like a polygon. I'm never politicking, the drama be piling on. Father and great son acknowledged like I'm Bobby Bonds. Conversation with my lady about the paper route. 5 sit bank accounts, every day I make it count. They down talking my commentary for hating now. Well, I can take it cause I'm bodying your favorite now, please. I could do this shit in my sleep. I been writing for these niggas, y'all read it and weep. I been fighting these niggas if you speak on the street. I'll turn your birthday party into New Year's Eve. Don't let me take it there. We ain't playing fair. This the ATL, Southside nigga moving furniture like Wayfair. Life on hold, no insurance for your healthcare. Lifeline gone, so you wanna be a millionaire? Well, let me tell you about this world I built. The women I dodged, the niggas that I ran for filth. The sympathy calls, consulting for the stacks I built. I